Well, good morning, guys. This is Brandon, a little NC farmer, coming back to you again today, and wanted to just show you around a little bit on what our garden's doing. And I've been busy, guys, with things here. I apologize for not putting up a lot of videos. I mean, we have just been overwhelmed with a lot of different produce coming in right now. Green beans, onions, peaches, blueberries, blackberries, and squash, cucumbers, things like that. Uh, so I wanted to just show you around a little bit what's going on right now and just let you look at it and see what we've got. So let's just walk around and check things out. Okay, guys, right here is my onions. I went ahead and pulled those up, and some of them wasn't quite ready, but I just went on and got them all out, and I've got them here kind of cure out. They're on the back of my swing. But guys, I want you to look. Just look right here, what a whopper of an onion. I mean, I've got fairly decent sized hands, but that thing, it's every bit of 5, maybe 6 inches across. I don't know. I don't have a rule right handy. I'd measure it. But I mean, guys, these things have just done great. I couldn't ask for them to be no better. And I'm going to try to, it'll take me a while to do this video, but I want to do a video. I've had a couple of different people to suggest this, so I thought I'd try it, but I'm going to try to make it all one video from start to finish on these onions. And I'll date it, document it. Every video I make will be dated, and you can kind of see the steps and the progress, but it'll take, it's about a year's process right here. And Lord willing, next month, August, I will be starting some new seeds on these. Now, I don't have any seeds. I've got to get more seed. I think I've used all my seed up. I might still have some on these red ones right here, but the Walla Wallas, I'll have to get more seed. And I don't know, I may do a different variety next year. I'm just not sure. We may try something else. But I like these. I mean, they've done great. I like the yellow onion. They've been excellent. We've actually eaten some of them. Made potato salad. I'm getting a few bell peppers, and we got our potatoes up. And that was another thing we've been working on. But I fixed some potato salad here the other day, and man, it was just good to eat fresh right from your garden. This is my little ginger plant right here. I've started it. This is just from store-bought ginger. The only mistake I've made, I should have broken it up before I planted it. I didn't, so we'll see how it goes, but hopefully, you know, I may transplant this out. I don't know yet what I'm going to do there. But it's a beautiful plant. I mean, it's pleasant to look at. Okay, this is where my onions were at, in these containers right here. And after I took those up, I amended my soil in here. I just put a little triple 10 to it. I don't know why all of these have a yellow look to them. I don't understand that. The ones in these big tubs right here, they are the yellow Cherokee wax bean. The ones in the smaller ones are the jade bush bean, just like what I have in the garden. So I thought I'd mix them up. I'm not keeping the seed on them, so it don't matter what I'm doing here. I'd like to can me just a few and mix them in the jar and try it that way. I ate some last year, but I didn't have that many of them. I really wasn't able to look after them. They were down at my mom and dad's. So hopefully I've got them here and I can look after them a little better and maybe get a little better harvest off of them. And as you can see here, guys, the Cherokee tan pumpkin is just taking over my porch right here. The last count I had on it, we'll walk down there and look too, but the last count I had, I've got 6 or 7 pumpkins so far. I see one right down there. I don't know how well you can see it, but it looks like it might be turning faulty. It must not have got pollinated well. And I see, okay, right there's two more. One of them pollinated and the other one didn't. So you can see that right there. And there's another little one. So it may be about eight or nine yet, and I know there'll be more. But this thing is very prolific, I will say. I think there's one. I thought there was one right here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Hid back there. They hide good. I don't know how well you can see it right there. But I've got another one down below. But I just put triple 10 on these. I may come back and water them good with some Miracle Grow. I don't know, to see if that will help darken the leaves up a little bit. Because those onions, they pull the nutrients out of the soil in there. So we'll give it another day or two and see what they do. Thought I'd walk down here and let you see it from down here on this angle. This is actually in that pot right there is where it starts. And right here, this is the first one that I had that came on. It's almost as big as that onion I pulled off. But the thing about the Cherokee Tan, they don't get very big. So and they have a good longevity so far as a shelf life. I've been told that they can keep onwards up to a year, you know, if you harvest them right. And so I'll be showing you how I do that a little later on in the season. But we've got bees out here. They're doing their job. All right, guys, we're out here at my little garden, and my okra is doing good. I've actually got okra in there to harvest. We had some rainfall, thank the good Lord, this week. And so I've got okra in here to harvest, and I've got to get in and get that out. And I've got to work on my peppers. I may do a separate video on that. They're shedding leaves. They're needing something, and I think I know what they need. So I may do a video on that separate. My tomatoes are doing okay. I just haven't had a chance to get in and do any pruning. They need some of the vegetation took off of them. But with those wire cages, it's a little aggravating to do that without tearing up everything. So I don't know. I just haven't had time to focus on that like I normally should. The cucumbers are doing well. They finally took off. The squashes finally took off. You know, it just took forever, seemed like, to get anything to grow this year in the beginning because we had such cold nights. But I've got a few squash. They haven't really kicked in and started bearing yet. But I've got just now starting to get cucumbers and squash within the last week, and this is the first week of July, so it's about on schedule. It's just later than it used to be, I do know that. And guys, these jade bush beans, if you're not familiar with those, if you're wanting to try a new variety and you've never tried these, I highly recommend these. Guys, twice there's already 2 bushel of beans came off of these 2 rows. I can pick a half a bushel off of each row at a time. I've picked a bushel at one time. They've been picked twice. They can go through and be picked again, and I would probably not miss a bushel much. It might not be quite as much on the 3rd picking, but those things have really done great this year. I cannot complain with them. And I gave my mom and dad some. I've gave several away, and I've even put up some myself so far. I would like to do one more canner of these if I could. And so we'll just have to see what, you know, what time allows us to do. And the popcorn, you can see there, it's doing great. It's already starting to tassel out, and it's even putting the brace roots on the bottom. And so I'm curious to see what we get there. This is my first time growing popcorn in a long time. We grew it years ago, and I just got away from it, and so I wanted to try it again. And because it's actually better for you than this old microwave stuff, and just to pop it like this. And so I thought I'd try it again and see what, you know, what we can do with it. My little fig bush is really growing now. I have put some chicken manure down in the bottom. I did that back in the winter and amended it good, and guys, that thing has simply took off now. So I kind of know now what to put to it. And this is my first time having a big tree, whichever you want to call it. I've been around them. We had one growing up, had family to have them, but this is my first one of my own. And because I love fig preserves, and so I thought I wanted to try me one, and you know, be able to have my own figs eventually. I've got another surprise for you, guys. This is my persimmon tree. It's been here a couple of years now. I've been pruning on it to try to shape it up as best I could, and I've been worried that this was a male tree. There's a male and a female on a persimmon tree. At least that's the way they are around here. So I've been watching. I know it's got to be close to bearing. I was out here just the other day, and if something hadn't took them right there. There's two little persimmons, and I think there's some more here close by somewhere. Yeah, right there's another. So it's a she. So I'm so thankful for that. That's the only ones I saw. I think there was actually 4. I only see those 3 now. But I was so thankful for that. But I know that it probably did bloom, and the cold could have hindered some of that when we had all that cold weather back in the spring. And you can see the leaves are wet because we had rain. There's actually a bird nest in there. I don't want to bother it too much. But I was so tickled with that. And hopefully I can shape it out. A persimmon tree, they'll just go straight up if you don't do any kind of pruning to them. And that's why I wanted to kind of keep it in check. And I see I've got some little sprouts, water sprouts at the bottom there. I'm gonna have to prune. Thought I'd give you a little different angle on my garden on this way, the cucumbers on this end. And I picked them pretty heavy this past week. There's really not been a lot on there. They've really not cranked up and got to bearing yet, but I see some little ones in there, and I'm about tempted to get in there and get those off, because I can about put me together a jar of pickles. So that might be something I do here in a minute. I've got to take my trash off, and then I've got to run down at Mom and Dad's too, so it don't take very long to do those, but I could probably finish up a jar with what I'm seeing there anyway. But the bees, or honeybees, is actually honeybees and bumblebees is out here working on these, so that's good. That's what I like to see. And look at the blackberry vine, guys. I picked this yesterday. Yeah, the Japanese beetles is getting in here working on them, but I picked this thing clean yesterday with ripe ones, and I've already got more. I picked a gallon bucket yesterday out here, and probably tomorrow I could probably do the same thing. I don't know, tomorrow, Monday. But I see some more in there. What I'm probably going to do with these is just juice them, because we were talking about it back in the late winter, early spring, how we'd like to have some blackberry juice for medicinal purposes. I mean, there is a lot of medical qualities. And guys, this thing right here, I have picked, and I have picked, and I have picked blueberries. My son's supposed to come, and he's gonna get, I told him to get all he wants of these things, because I'm tired of picking them. I've got probably a gallon to a gallon and a half in the freezer right now. I've been picking them. a little bit every day and putting them in the freezer. And probably what I'm going to do is make preserves with them. But I'm tired of messing with them. I've run out of room in my freezer, so I'm tired of messing with them. But this thing has really showed off this spring. The other one, this one actually has bigger blueberries, and this one actually ripens up earlier, where this one's later. But this one, I like the blueberries on it much better, but the cold got it. If you remember back in the winter, one of my videos I talked about this one. I was unsure about it. Well, the cold, I think, did set it back. Didn't kill all the blueberries, but it got a good chunk of them because it was loaded just like this one was. And that one down there, I forget the name. I believe this one is an early blue, and I think that one is actually another in the same family that will pollinate with this one. I think I'm right. Where this one here is kind of like a standalone, but it's bearing great. I mean, if you'd have saw it before I started picking on it, guys, you couldn't lay your hand in there without touching a blueberry somewhere. And so, anyway, that's the way that is. Put that owl in there. He does help guard that from birds getting in it. I don't have that problem. It's them big white birds right over there that give me a fit. Now we look in here, you can see we've got scuppernongs coming on, and I hope this thing will do good. The dry weather affects these in their early stages, so I'm really hoping that it's getting the adequate amount of rainfall as it needs. It's not overbearingly loaded though, like I have seen it. There's some in there, but I've seen it with a lot more. And this thing may be about due another cutting back too, I don't know. But there's a few in there. Alright guys, we're down here today at the garden that we planted back in the spring. And the corn is getting good amount of rain on it, so hopefully it should be making something. I would say by the end of next week we should be pulling some corn out here. We've had some issues with the beetles getting hold of the silks, eating them off, but I'm hoping that there's enough of them that are pollinated that it won't be a total loss. But there's some nice looking corn. I'm not walking out in there because it's muddy. It's done rain last night, but I'm well pleased with it, and so hopefully we'll get a little something off of it. But it's mainly for my mom and dad. I don't put that much up for us no more. We just don't eat it like we used to, so this will be mainly for them. All right guys, I just thought I would show the peach tree real quick. This is where my peaches came from, and you can see this one still has plenty. These trees have been just simply loaded. There's limbs over there on that one they've just broke back. And we've been blessed with peaches this year, and they are so good. They've got such a good flavor to them. I haven't showed much on this garden. This is my mom and dad's garden. These are field peas. We planted those about a couple weeks ago, and I've plowed them twice. That is also another thing I want to do. I'll probably do one more cultivating on them, and I would like to get a video of that when I do. And this is a row of okra. I see some grass that's got started. And these are the half runner green beans. Just looking in there, I don't see any. There's some right there. Yeah, there's a few on there. They're just slow about putting on this year. Me and my dad, we put a wire up for them to run on. Makes it a lot easier to pick. I used to grow these. This is what we grew when I was growing up all the time. But for whatever reason, they do not bear like they used to. And that's why I just quit fooling with them. But you can see we got beautiful vines there. It's just a lack of beans, and they're blooming. But I don't know why there's very little production out of them. Okay guys, these are field peas. These are more, they're just like those up there. These are the pink eye purple hull peas. And like I say, I want to do probably one last cultivating on these, and that'll probably pretty much wrap them up. I'm glad to see them get this rain because they really needed that. But we've had a little issue with deer. They got right in here on this end. Worked on those. I'm hoping Dad can keep them away. And but that is what it is. But these two rows here are beautiful. But they'll be back, I'm sure. And guys, this is some corn from Mr. Joey, JT West YouTube channel. And I'm gonna try to walk out in there. I hope I don't get mar up in mud. And guys, I'm 6 foot tall, and I would say, counting the tassel and all, them two right there, I would say they're every bit of 10 foot long, 10 foot tall. This one right here on the end too. And they ain't even started really putting an ear out yet. They should start pretty shortly. That is some tall corn, let me tell you. But I'm hoping to get enough, to get seed, and I'd like to be able to have a little bit for cornmeal and get a start on that. That's something I want to look into in the future. Not sure yet which route I want to go, but it's definitely something I'm thinking about. And you can see right here, this is the last. They won't get plowed no more. This row right here, this is my sweet potatoes that we planted a while back. This is how they're looking now. And most of the ones that's there is the ones that I started. I bought some sets. They did very poorly. But the ones that I did myself have actually just thrived. And we've got a watermelon and a pumpkin vine down on that end down there. And there's a little cantaloupe right here. I actually had this whole thing planted and nothing came up. So I just quit fooling with it. And then we took a handful of pea seed. We just sowed them on this end. I mainly done that so the deer would have something to eat, but they didn't want those. They wanted to go up here and get them in the rows. But anyway, that's a little close to sweet potatoes anyhow. But I'm hoping they'll stay away from stuff, at least long enough that we can get something. And we got our potatoes out. Over there's where the potatoes was at. We got those out. I think we got probably around 4 bushel off of it. There were not, some of them were good size. Most of them were small, and it just goes back to just not having adequate rainfall. And two, I didn't keep the grass out of them like I should have. Over here, we had the beets, and we harvested those the first of the week. We didn't get that many. The grass there again took them, and I wasn't able to really be down here tending to it like I should. All right, guys, I just thought I'd just take a quick walk around, just let you see this, and maybe you can get a good vantage point on how tall that corn is right there. And I don't know what, let's see. Those that I bought, they've got a real forked looking leaf to them. The sweet potatoes, they were called Georgia Reds. And the ones with a heart-shaped leaf on them, I'm pretty sure are Covington Reds. I don't know, didn't know there were so many different varieties. Covington Reds is the most popular, I think. I see a little watermelon right up there. And I'm pretty sure I've got some little pumpkins in there too. I just hope the deer will leave those alone, because I know they can murder pumpkins. I see plenty of blooms in there. Let's just walk up there and just see. I'm thinking I saw a pumpkin in there the other day. I don't want to get out in there and get in the mud though. Get down here and get on a snake. That won't be good either. If they are, there may be one right up in there. I don't see nothing yet, but man, these vines are walking the dog, as old saying is. That, looking at that one stalk right there, it's actually leaned over. It's so heavy on top. Look how high the ears are. And I remember going over seeing Joey last summer. You remember I done a video on that, and his stalks were probably, well, they were taller than that, and they were much fatter diameter. But I think some of his had 3 ears to one stalk. But I don't know why some of it, of course that over there, there's like 3 together, so that might be why they didn't get as tall. But when I planted this, everything's just in a hurry and a push and shove, and y'all know how that goes. But right here is a good way, and I wished I had done this, planted the pumpkins in with the corn, because they actually help keep grass at bay. That was an old timer's way of doing that back in the day. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching. I hope you found this interesting. And like I say, I do hope that I can do some videos on the cultivating when I do my last cultivating with these peas. That's my plan. And that'll probably be that'll wrap up the cultivating for this season. They won't be any more. I've still got the cultivator on the tractor right now, so you know, we'll be going into doing some fall stuff and getting ready for greens and things like that. So I appreciate you watching, and hope you found this interesting, guys. And thank you so much for everybody that's supporting my channel. Don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your family, your friends, whoever. And I greatly appreciate it. So y'all have a great day, have a great summer. Talk to you the next time. Thank you from Little NC Farmer.